Coming to you from the Black Swan Media Studios, this is Fireside Chats, talking to the real difference makers in the world. Now, here is your host, John Crump.
What is up, party people? My name is John Crump. I am the director for Gun Owners of America and also writer extraordinaire for MLN.com. I do some really cool journalism over there, some investigative journalism, if you will. My face is going to look kind of funky today more than usual because I'm really numb. I went into, first, I woke up, my face was like just freaking killing me. I'll get into that later. I don't want to keep everyone too in suspense, but we are brought to you today by the wonderful people over at Mantis X. Last night or yesterday, I had the guys from Mantis X over on the podcast, and they were great. They explained the whole product. If you haven't seen Mantis X, it is a really cool product that helps you shoot better, and it's just incredible. It's a little device that attaches to your pistol, and it lets you know every little move that you make so you can correct those moves. It also works with dry fire and live ammunition and CO2 guns too, which is really cool. They have a new product coming out called the Blackbeard, which inserts into your AR where the bolt carrier would go. Just like bolt carrier, charging handle gets replaced with a Blackbeard. And it's a little laser, so you can see where you're shooting at. It works with all sorts of laser devices and laser trackers. A cool thing is it also resets the trigger. So instead of having that spongy feel after one time or having to break your hold to re-rack the AR, to charge the AR, it automatically resets the trigger. And it's same trigger pull and everything. It's incredible. Now that I got that plug out of the way, you can also support me at Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump. Everything goes to my niece. Every penny goes to my niece from my Patreon, from the super chats, from the PayPal, which is at paypal.me/JohnCC. I have a subscribestar.com/John Crump. All that goes to my niece. I also have a book out. My book is called Speaking with Giants. You can go to crumpy.com/giants to get that. Super chats, $25, you get you a signed book. $5 gets you a signed patch. If you become a $20 Patreon, which I have a couple, you will get a signed book free. $5 and above gets you a patch. G-Webs, I see you out there. I want to get you a patch anyway. And there's also a GoFundMe at crumpy.com/GFM. Now that I got that out of the way, I want to talk to Mike from the Free State Podcast. He is from Maryland, and he keeps track of all the Maryland things. I'm going to bring him on, then I'm going to explain what's going on with me. All right. So, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks, John. I know it's been a while since I've been on here with you. Having fun as much as you can in Maryland. If you're into guns or anything like that, they don't let us have too much fun out here. The legislative session for 2020 was cut short because of coronavirus. They ended up adjourning early. So a lot of the bills that we were worried about didn't happen. Some of the ones we did get passed, but we can cover how that all shook out later on.
Well, you will cover that. I just want to give everyone an update why my face looks so funny more than usual and why I'm kind of out of it a little bit. I fell asleep and I was good, right? Fell asleep, nothing wrong. I woke up in freaking tremendous pain. What happened was I have a very high pain tolerance. So I grind my teeth at night, and I must have cracked it a few days ago, but with my pain tolerance, I kind of get cluster headaches. I really didn't notice the pain, which sounds kind of funny, but I didn't notice the pain. And what happened was that crack got infected. And when that gets infected, you feel pain. So I'm on some pain meds right now. My dentist numbed me up, and I have to have a root canal because of the infection. So tomorrow I'll be getting a root canal. Yay.
So that's a fun Friday.
But I'm like, dude, I got a podcast I can't miss. Seriously. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow, but I got a podcast.
Yeah, man, the show must go on, right?
Show must go on, exactly. So I'm going to try to do a show tomorrow. So I don't know how I'm out of it today. So tomorrow, Lord knows, you might want to you might want to join in. Our chat are broken again. 'Cause I don't see GWeb. I don't see Girl and Guns. I don't see people. I do see Facebook, which is interesting, but I don't see any of the other places. So yeah, John, just hit me up. We'll get you a sign book and everything else like that. Since you don't, Super Chat is on YouTube. You got to go to YouTube/John Crump 2. YouTube.com/John Crump 2. That's where all the fun happens. That's where I'm trying to push everyone because Facebook keeps on deleting me. They don't like
you getting the ban hammer?
I already got the ban hammer. I've never been banned, never been suspended, and they dropped the ban hammer on me permanent and told me never to come back.
Dang, man.
Yeah, I used to work there too. So talking to one of the former executives over there, I was like, "What would happen?" He's like, "I don't know. It must have happened before, but I don't know." But yeah, so let's get into Maryland and some other stuff. Do you want to do Maryland first?
However you want to do it, man. I got a little list. It's been sort of a slow summer, so there's not a whole lot going on. But
right,
if you want, we can get into that.
Knock that out because that's
Yeah,
the reason we have you on here.
for sure. So last time I was on, we were in the midst of the 2020 legislative session. There were, I can tell you, I got the spreadsheet here. I was tracking like 60 bills, I think, that were related to firearms, 51 bills related to firearm legislation. Some good, some bad, some indifferent. But they were making a big push on more gun control here in the state. There were some other stuff, like there was a bill, House Bill 73 was solidifying and ensuring the right of people in the state of Maryland that have medical cannabis cards, because medical marijuana is here and legal. But right now, there's no law that solidifies your right to also own a firearm. Now, this is, of course, at the state level, not federal, because it's all still illegal.
It's still
How
illegal.
it goes.
You still can't. You still
Yep.
won't pass a 4473.
Exactly. So I guess it's just that one would have been paying some lip service. That one didn't even make it out of committee. So that just sort of hung out there because of the shortened proceedings. They were super paranoid about not getting anything passed, so they focused on a couple of big education bills. They focused on the big gun bill that they were trying to force through was House Bill 4, which was cross-filed to Senate Bill 208. That was a long gun transfer background check bill. So Delegate Atterbury was really, really concerned about the fact that you can do secondary transfers, is what they call them. So private gun transfers between two adults without a background check or going through an FFL or having anything run. And so this bill made it illegal to transfer long guns, rifle, shotgun, whatever, to another person, or would have made it illegal to transfer without a background check. There was a companion bill that was seeking to establish a long gun qualification license. So here in Maryland, we have a handgun qualification license that got passed in 2013 in Senate Bill 281 and the Firearms Safety Act of 2013 following I believe it was Sandy Hook shooting up north. And the handgun qualification license basically means you can't buy a handgun in the state of Maryland without first passing a qualification course. So you have to be fingerprinted, background checked, take 4 hours of instruction, and then you get a little card that says you're allowed to buy handguns in the state.
I used to be an instructor for that.
Yeah, so you know all about it.
Okay.
So they didn't go anywhere with anything other than House Bill 4 and Senate Bill 208, which did get passed. So that passed in the House, the Senate, made it out like it wasn't even a close vote. Like it was pretty overwhelming, which I guess isn't too surprising for Maryland, but it's certainly disheartening. A little bit of time passed. I think it wasn't until March that Hogan ended up vetoing it. Governor Larry Hogan vetoed it. And in the statement he made, he didn't say he was vetoing it because the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed or anything like that. He's a very middle of the road politician, very, very centrist. The more right wing folks here in Maryland call him a rhino, right? A Republican in name only. And he said that he vetoed it because they, being the General Assembly, did not pass any legislation addressing violent crime in Baltimore. So that's really the only like piece of legislation that did anything, which is crazy because there were over 50 proposed, but coronavirus sort of took the wind out of a lot of sails. After that, let's see. So in June, there was a catastrophic failure of hardware, according to the Maryland State Police. And what that meant was they couldn't process background checks. And so here in the state of Maryland, you have to, apply for your handgun to purchase you have to apply to purchase a handgun, basically. And they hold it for 7 days. And on the 8th day, they'll release a firearm, right? I don't know. Is that the same in Virginia?
No. If you're 21 and over, you have to go through a background check for a handgun. There's no waiting period. If you're 18 to 20, you are exempt from background check laws.
Yeah. So
because the court ruled that. The court kind of because GOA sued.
There you go.
Background check because the legal age to own a handgun in Virginia is 18, but the background check, you can't pass a background check for a handgun unless you're over 21.
Yep.
21 and over. So we sued, and it's going to go to the Supreme Court, where the Virginia Supreme Court, where we're going to try to overturn the whole law. And
gotcha.
we think we can do it, honestly.
That'd be nice. It would be nice if it would go federal with an appeal, and then it could be applied to Maryland, right?
yeah, we sue everyone.
Yeah. So
Washington State, New Jersey.
Yeah. So there was this like catastrophic hardware failure, and it meant that they couldn't run any background checks or anything. Now, by law, they being Maryland State Police can't require retailers or sellers of firearms to hold firearms for longer than the 7 days that's written into law. On the 8th day, whether the background check has been passed or gotten to or not or anything, it can be released. But that's at the discretion of the retailer. Now, they put out this letter on June 22nd that, like, when you read it, if you're a firearms retailer, they say, so Maryland State Police Department encourages retailers not to transfer firearms until background checks have been completed. However, should you elect to exercise your statutory option to release this firearm, here's what you have to do. And of course, basically no gun store in Maryland wanted to release anything without getting the okay from the state police here. And I think it ended up being like 4 days before that was fixed, which is sort of a bummer because there were a lot of folks that were basically just having a lot of money tied up in guns that they weren't allowed to, or they were allowed to own, but people were too scared to give them because the state police are a bunch of bullies when it comes to stuff like that.
If it was my gun shop, I would have transferred it.
Yeah,
guaranteed. I used to own gun shops, and I would have transferred it. But I'm also kind of a troublemaker. I like to poke the bear.
Yeah, exactly. And we all know, you and GOA are not afraid of a little bit of a lawsuit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely not. I've sued the governor of Virginia. Personally, I've sued him. GOA sued him multiple times. I've been on those. We've sued New York. We've sued California. We sued Washington State. We sued places in North Carolina. We sued. We sue a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's all justified though. And someone's asking me why, or saying that his camera's not working. What you have to understand is Mike Hero is a guy called Gun Websites on YouTube. We call him G Webs. G-Webs is a ninja and master of disguise, so he doesn't show his face anywhere. He'll just pop in and he'll sneak up behind you, be like, "I'm G-Webs," and you'll be talking to him, and you blink, and then he's gone. Like a little smoke bomb rise to the sky, and G-Webs is just gone. G-Webs is out in the crowd, but so Mike wants to be like G-Webs. So
Yeah, exactly.
he doesn't have the camera on. He doesn't want anyone to know his face.
But so yeah, just a little bit of anonymity is appreciated in these internet days, right?
Yeah, I don't care. I've had everything else come at me, bro.
So yeah, so there was the catastrophic failure that took a few days to get taken care of, and of course, like the Baltimore Sun took that opportunity to run an editorial, a very scathing editorial, condemning the legislators in Maryland and condemning the governor and condemning anybody that allows what they're calling the Charleston loophole to remain in effect, which is basically you can get a gun without a background check being completed, even though you're already in the system. After
Stupid.
that, yeah, it's dumb.
Well,
After that,
suing in Michigan over the because in Michigan they're basically saying even if you have a concealed carry permit, you still have to go through a background check. But that's not what the law says at all.
really,
So yeah, the law says a background check through NICS or the equivalent, and since you have to go through a NICS background check with a concealed carry permit, the purpose of the equivalent was to say, hey, if you had to go through a background check with the concealed carry permit, then you shouldn't have to go through it again. But so we're soon over that. And there's another thing that's coming down probably in the next couple months. So I can't really spill the beans on that, but I think you're gonna like it.
hey, that's good to hear. With coronavirus here in Maryland, Governor Hogan had put the kibosh on a lot of in-person education, or people being in retail stores or anything like that. Part of that, some of the spillover into the gun industry was, we were talking about having an HQL earlier, and they being the Maryland State Police had gotten wind of some instructors giving firearm safety training courses virtually. So to get your HQL, normally you have to go in person and take this class and have face-to-face time with the instructor. They found out that there were some instructors doing this virtually online, and they immediately put out a notice saying, hey, you have to stop this. And they said, any current or ongoing practices of virtual HQL instruction must cease immediately. Qualified handgun instructors continuing this practice will be subject to the revocation of their QHI license. And so that was on July 24th. And so everyone was going, well,
Out of state.
What's that?
How about out of state instructors?
I don't think
Maryland class in Virginia.
Yeah, you probably could, but at this one, I mean, back then,
Yeah,
you were
back
probably worried about interstate stuff, right? Like crossing state lines during coronavirus.
No, but what I'm saying is the Maryland people could have came to me in Virginia. Would I still be restricted by that, or since I'm in a different state, would that threat not work against me?
Well, they could revoke your Maryland handgun instructor license, right?
Yeah, I still would have done it.
But yeah, luckily it didn't last long. That first notice came out on the 24th, and there was immediate backlash, right? People were saying, well, the governor's put out all these notices, and they're saying we all have to stay home, and they're saying, we have to wear masks everywhere. How can you force us to be in person if, that's not safe for us? How could we, how do we navigate this? So in like 4 days later, they came out. I think maybe the guys at MSI leaned on them a little bit. That's Maryland Shall Issue, which is a nonprofit organization here dedicated to.
Yeah, in the book I have coming out, which is going to be a little bit delayed, big announcement about my top picks for firearms groups around the country, which I'm having a hard time with a couple of states where there's firearms rights groups that I'm not exactly too keen on, but they're they're the best one in the state. So I don't know
Right.
what to do with that. But Maryland shall issue is actually my Maryland pick. They're actually really good. Um,
Oh yeah, they're. I mean, the guys at MSI. I've been in touch with them and working with them and been around them since like 2000. Would have been 2012. When they were first getting off the ground, and they're consistently some of the strongest advocates for pro Second Amendment stances in the state. Uh, their whole platform is based on seeking a shall issue standard for concealed carry permits in the state of Maryland. Um, and so, I have nothing but good things to say about those guys.
yeah, yeah. John, I will hit you up with New Jersey questions. Um, that's not a problem. I have tons of New Jersey questions. In fact, one of our MLA offices is located in New Jersey, and I drive through New Jersey once a month. So, and New Jersey is
Oh,
freaking crazy. Yeah, I think the probably the most anti-gun state there is.
they're up
Maryland,
there.
though. Maryland is definitely up there.
Yeah, it's like Maryland, California, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. If you count the city, maybe. I mean, it's up there.
Although I think California is not going to appeal the ruling of the Ninth Circuit.
Well, they're worried about the same thing DC was, um, with appealing. What was it, Heller? Where they're just worried about setting a precedent that can apply nationally.
But um that means that the magazine ban will end like today.
Yeah, which is great for them.
Have to do it
They,
like
they still have to put them in those paddle gripped ARs and stuff like that, but at least they can have standard capacity magazines.
yeah. So I and I heard like right after it rolled, um, somebody dropped me an anonymous tip, and so somebody I don't know who they are, but they've dropped me tips multiple times, and they've all been dead on. So don't ask me who they are, but I can't run with these tips, even though I'm pretty sure that they're right. What I use a journalistic standard, which you have to have. You just can't be one trusted source. It has to be multiple trusted sources.
A little bit of corroboration.
Yeah, and this guy's trusted because he's probably given me about 15 tips that are correct. But I just can't break my rule because the one time I do, I'm gonna get screwed by it.
Oh, I'm
But
sure.
right after the Ninth Circuit came out with their ruling, um, he hit me up or she. I don't know if it's a he or she, and said, uh, "We're not going to appeal."
Huh.
So this is number
Well,
16.
congratulations to the pro gun folks in California if that pans out.
If that pans out, but it's not corroborated, so I couldn't go on record and write an article about, hey, they're not going to appeal because
Right.
the one time I do, it's going to screw me over.
Yeah. Other so let's see. We talked about House Bill 4. We talked about the janky online stuff. Really, the last thing, and this happened at the beginning of this month, like 3.5 weeks ago, I guess. On August 3rd, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is based out of Richmond, I think.
Yes,
Um,
very anti-gun.
yeah, surprisingly enough, revived a lawsuit that MSI had first filed back in 2016. So MSI was suing, I think, Maryland State Police and then Larry Hogan because he signed the law or because he's the current sitting governor. Um, Basically, so this was a lawsuit against the HQL, the handgun qualification license.
Yeah,
Um,
I think they're going to win that.
yeah, and so you think the state's going to win it?
No, I think MSI is going to win it. If the Fourth Circuit revives a gun case, it's because there's overwhelming evidence that says
Yeah,
that it is. And I talked to a couple of attorneys, and they said it should be a slam dunk. But no one really knows. One thing about covering court cases, I realized um, no one really knows what's going to happen.
right.
I mean, it's just so wonky that you can be so for sure, and all of a sudden the judge comes out and says something totally different. You're just
Yeah.
like, where the hell did that come from? But
Well, so
but
what'll be
honestly,
interesting is, it was thrown out because the Maryland court ruled that,
incorrectly ruled.
right, incorrectly ruled that Maryland shall issue, and then there's a gun shop, Atlantic Gun Shop, lacked standing to bring the case forward
Uh,
because they didn't have, like, they weren't affected that the way that they were alleging.
well, a lack standing when they throw a court case out because it lacks standing, that usually means that they were looking for a reason to throw it out. So
Yeah.
if they can't find any other reason to rule in favor of who they want to rule in favor of, so they try to just punt it.
Yeah, so it's been revived by the lovely Fourth Circuit. We'll see where it goes. Um, it'll be nice if something happens where we end up getting rid of the HQL, just because it's such a it's another barrier to entry to folks that have never owned a gun or maybe own guns but aren't buying more
Yeah,
because they have to get a license to do it.
maybe we need to give people civics tests before they vote. That's basically what HQO
Yeah, and you
civics
know,
test.
yeah, good luck convincing people that we need one of those.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's basically the equivalent.
Yeah. So, in all, that is basically your Maryland wrap up. There wasn't it was a pretty quiet just with all the coronavirus stuff. I
Yeah,
mean, we can talk about
or
civil rights infringements in other areas from that, but for the most part, it was a pretty quiet summer on the gun front.
are they going to have a special session or anything later on, or is it
So,
just for the year?
when they ended their um General Assembly legislative session in March, like way early. It was like 20 days early. And they basically spent the last, I want to say 10 days of like their 10 working days dealing with coronavirus legislation. When they were ending in March, they said, oh, well, we're going to have another special session, a short session in May.
That's what I thought that they said, but that didn't happen, right?
Yeah, didn't happen. And from what the people I've spoken to, I haven't heard anything about another session being put in the mix, and certainly not. Even if there was one, I don't think they would be addressing any sort of gun legislation at this point. I mean, you're right now it's August. The session will start in January, so you're only 4 months away from the 2021 session as is.
Yeah, I follow Maryland gun laws. I have to follow every state's gun laws, which is kind of a pain sometimes. But what bills are coming up here and there because people want to hear about it.
Hmm.
Being a journalist, I have to do that. And in Virginia, I pay particular attention to because of my connection with GOA and stuff.
Yeah. So you being in Virginia, what's your take on the Norfolk City Council's hearing on that one bill that they or the one ordinance that they then backed down on? Like, what happened with that?
Outrage is what happened with that. Alexandria passed a bill. Richmond is getting ready to pass a bill. And Portsmouth, I think, is passed a bill which allows them to ban guns on city property and at like protest or any type of permitted event. And not only that, but on the streets next to the permitted event.
So here in Maryland, we already have. So here in Maryland, you're not allowed to open carry handguns or anything like that at all. You are by law allowed to open carry long guns, but no one does it because you'll just get arrested on some charge. Um, but one of the stipulations for open carry of long guns in the state of Maryland is you can't do it at a protest. So that law is already in effect. I think that's like a 15 or 20-year-old law at this point.
Well, this isn't. This is like the county can decide whether they allow that or not.
Gotcha.
But I think I have no inside knowledge, but I think there's probably going to be lawsuits over this. Um,
I could see a couple of folks getting pissed
yeah,
off and wanting to pursue something.
uh, Virginia had preemption up until this past session when they voted preemption dead. Maryland does. I don't think you guys have preemption, do you?
No.
And Maryland doesn't. Uh, there's going to be lawsuits, I can guarantee you, about the whole preemption thing in Virginia. I don't know when, I don't know who, but I would venture to bet that that there's already lawsuits in the works.
Interesting.
But I don't know about any. Oh, sometimes in my eye lawsuits coming up that I can talk about. No, I'm not talking about GOA lawsuits. There might be one or two coming from different organizations. There is definitely one that's coming in Richmond, and I think that was served to the mayor already, or will be
Okay.
today or yesterday. I don't want to say the person's name because I don't know if they want to be known yet, but yeah,
Yeah, no sense in putting them on blast
yeah,
if it's not necessary for sure.
yeah. They it's self funded too, which is kind of cool. And it's not like self funded like, hey, let's let me write this lawsuit myself. No, they've actually got a pretty good attorney. Um, they're not. Let's just put it. They're not hurting for money. This person, at least.
Well, that's what you need at this point. I mean, the state has ridiculous, almost essentially unlimited, unchecked amounts of money, and that's sort of what you have to fight it with if you want to see a case all the way through.
Yeah, this the person who's filing has lots of money, um, and so yeah, he got paid to process servers and stuff like that, um, to serve every member of the Richmond City Council and the mayor. So
Well, that's the real deal.
yeah, they have lawyers and everything else, and he's going after them. So I was like, go get some.
Go get them, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's like I said, that's the Maryland wrap up. How are things on your end?
Uh, there's a special session. There's a couple of bills that would exempt people from um, local preemption, local law, gun laws. If you have a concealed carry permit, I'm hoping that they pass. I don't think they will, but we can push and hope. Other than that, they haven't brought up any gun laws. I don't for their special session. I think they're kind of scared to bring up anti-gun laws right now.
Oh yeah, I mean between what you had happening over the winter and then I mean civil unrest right now, people are buying guns in record numbers. So
Yeah, now people who like, for example, used I know a guy who from California, from the Valley, and totally anti-gun guy. He might be listening, so if you're out there, I'm not going to say your name, but hey, great listens now actually, which is kind of funny. But I was at the range a couple weeks ago, and I'm walking out of the range. I'm like, "What are you doing here, man?" Because he used to argue with me. No one needs a gun. No one needs a gun. And not only did he have a handgun case, he looked like he had a rifle case. And he's like, "Yeah, I just need to sight in my AR."
really,
I'm like, wait. One second. You need a sight in your what? I need a sight in my AR. I'm like, but you said that no one ever needed a gun, and if I cared about kids, I wouldn't have guns. And he's like, man, I just want to apologize for saying that to you. Uh, everything that you said was right. I'm like,
interesting.
really? I was like, have you ever thought about? And he pulled out his GOA card. I'm like, okay.
Hey, if he knows, he knows, right? It's one of those things I think
You
we're
got
gonna be seeing a lot more of.
yeah.
Um, I think there's a lot of first time gun buyers, right? Which is great, but I think with this huge flood of first time gun buyers, you're also gonna see hopefully an equally sized, equally large flood of first time gun buyers who are upset with how hard it is to actually buy a gun in spite of what the media and politicians have been telling them for the last decade.
Well, people out in California found out the hard way when the lines went around the door or went around the building, and they found out that there's a waiting period. And they're
Oh
like, "What
yeah.
the hell?" There's a waiting period. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Back when all the coronavirus stuff really started popping off. I'm talking this is back in like April going into May. Um, I would go to a gun store to pick up, I mean, just like some cheap ammo, some range ammo for like, a 9 mil or something, right? And I'm talking to these guys. I'm standing in lines, and I'm not used to standing in lines to buy ammo and stuff like that. And I'm talking to these guys. They're like, "Oh yeah, I was, just thinking maybe it's time for me to get a Glock or something like that. What's a good range to go to today? Are they busy?" I was like, "Well, you could try to buy a Glock today, but do you have your HQL?" "Oh no, you don't have. So you're gonna have to take this class." And yeah, I know everyone's shut down right now, but they won't let you buy it. And then even after you take this class, you have to go through a second background check. And for every gun after that, you always go through a background check. And then if it's a regulated weapon, you're gonna have to wait 7 days and hope it doesn't fall on a weekend or a day that the gun store was closed. And I'm talking to these guys and they're going, "Man, so how long is it going to take?" And I was like, "I mean, if you started the process today, you might have one in your hands in a month." And they just couldn't believe it. And I don't talk politics with people all that much when I'm just meeting them on the street or anything like that. And the one guy I was talking to did get into a car with a Bernie Sanders sticker on the back. And maybe hopefully he was rethinking at least some of the people he was voting for, maybe in local elections, if not national.
Well, my friend who was rabid anti-gun, who was actually a former coworker, he is not voting for Biden. And I have another friend who's actually been on the show. Uh, yeah, Alan Bon Jovi, who's been on the show. He is basically a Democrat socialist, honestly, but he's pro 2A, and he has come over to the light side from the dark side, and he's not voting for Biden because he actually made it public. He's like, "I am like the president of the young Democrats
Yeah,
of
yeah,
my area, and you've lost my vote because of your stance on guns." Um,
yeah. I mean,
and I was like, that's big of you to not only do that, but admit it. I'm gonna have him back on the show. I'm gonna have him back on the show because he announced it in a place, and he wants to go into politics. That's probably gonna kill his political career right there.
at least as a Democrat, right? I mean,
So,
it's hard to win as a centrist or a moderate at this point.
yeah,
So
he's not going to Republican. He might vote for like Trump this election, but he's not going. He's not gonna. His ideas are really left. Just the whole gun thing is what he is. I guess you would call him a single issue voter. Not he just thinks that is so critical to protect all the other rights. If you take away that right, then
it's a deal breaker.
yeah, I can't go. I can't back you.
Which, I mean, I can support that. I think if you're gonna pick a hill to die on, maybe 2A is basically the best one. Second Amendment, First Amendment, stuff like that. If you had to pick one, 2A is a pretty good place to start.
Yeah. Remember, guys, you can always get my book Super Chats, $25. It's $19.99 on Amazon. Speaking with Giants, $5 for a patch. All proceeds go to my niece Bella, who have DIPG, which is a pretty aggressive form of childhood brain cancer. So you can do that. All my Patreon, all my Super Chats, all my YouTube revenue, everything I make basically goes to Bella right now.
So John, in your book, Speaking with Giants, for those who aren't acquainted with it, what are some of what's the basis of the book? What's it about? And what are some of the big names in it? Who are the Giants?
It's interviews that I've done. Basically, it starts out with talking to Dr. Miguel Faria Jr., who is a pretty awesome guy. He is a Cuban refugee. When the Cuban Revolution happened, there was two sides fighting against Batista. There was the communists fighting against Batista, and
Mm-hmm.
then there was the I guess the capitalists, the people who wanted democracy, and his family was part of that. So they had to flee Cuba, and the Cuban government chased them all over the Caribbean for a while, trying to catch him because his dad was a big guy in Cuban politics. So basically, they were probably going to kill their family. Finally escaped. He came here. He became a world famous neurosurgeon. Um, and he went to work. He was like one of the head guys at the CDC, and the CDC was doing these studies on guns. And he looked at him. He's like, "You guys aren't um, saying what the actual truth is. You guys are coming up with a target, and you're writing the study to hit to come up to the results that you want to come up." And he went in front of Congress and killed his career with the CDC because he was a whistleblower, and that's the reason why the CDC is not allowed to. Jude, hold on.
Dollar bills, y'all. Dollar bills, y'all.
I give you a little
Dollar
Wolverines. Hold on.
Wolverines. I'll buy that for $1.
I'll give you all of them today.
So as I was saying, the amount of money I'm going to be making would hurt your parents' feelings. You remember the class where I taught you all how to make it rain? That's what I'm going to be doing every single night. Dollar bills, y'all.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Jude, hit me up at Black Swan Media over on Facebook or Real John Crump on IG. Send me your information, or CrumpySS on Twitter. Send me your information. I get a patch out to you. Okay. So Miguel Faria. So he's the reason why the CDC's not allowed to study guns, and he started a organization called Doctors for Responsible Gun Ownership, which is a GOS organization with like some of like world famous doctors, a pro-gun doctor.
Those are some smart dudes. You know,
Yeah.
that's the kind of person you want to listen to.
Then Stephen Williford, the hero of Sutherland Springs, Texas, Miles Shore, Ivan the Troll, Kevin Dixie, Eric Pratt, Cody Wilson of 3D gun printing fame,
Hey, there you go.
Lieutenant Colonel Robert K. Brown, founder of Soldier of Fortune magazine. I talked to him yesterday. Freaking, some of the stories are crazy. Tim Kennedy, Rhonda Ezell from Ezellverse, City of Chicago, Carrie Lightfoot, Anthony Calandros, Sarah Albrecht, Jonathan T. Gilliam, Lieutenant Colonel Willis Lee, Owen Wilson, Sheriff Chris Brown, Skip Palace, John Sharp of the Sharp Brothers, Michael.
That's quite the who's who list.
Yeah, Dan Grove, who used to be head of the Brady organization. And now he's pro-gun.
Man,
He
that's
ran Brady for 20 years. I was the president of Brady, and then he became pro-gun, and he quit because he's like had disillusion because he started looking into stuff. And he went to a range. Cool thing about him is he went to a range, not knowing what to expect, and he took a class, and then he realized these guys aren't. Hook me up with Zeke Scout, Growlers and Guns. He's like, these guys aren't crazy. They're actually good. Then he started like looking into it. And he's like, you know what? This isn't for me. Jason David Frank, the Power Ranger guy.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Cindy Hyde Smith and Cheryl Todd. There might be volume 2 coming out. But yeah, so it's just interviews with them. I talk to them about like what makes them tech, because I get to learn a little bit about myself from talking to other people.
How kind of you. How introspective. But I mean, really, it's like I said, it's a who's who list of people that have really had a big role and had a major impact in the Second Amendment industry one way or another. And so, definitely sounds like something that's worth picking up and reading and gleaning some good information from.
John Petrolino, if you're still out there, I have an interview in the book with Ivan the Troll. You might like that. Ivan the Troll is a guy that pisses off the AG of New Jersey so bad by making 3D printed firearm files and releasing them to the world. The AG have sued him, but he's really, really good at hiding himself, and no one knows who he is. So the AG's been trying to track him down for like 3 or 4 years, and Ivan just like laughs at him because he's not even close.
So speaking of 3D guns, if I'm not wrong, I think, yeah. So I just found it. So the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled this month, that New Jersey Attorney General Gubir Gruel is subject to the jurisdiction of Texas courts because Defense Distributed is bringing a case against them.
Yeah, Cody Wilson.
Yep, Cody Wilson in the book, Speaking with Giants.
He sent me a. If you look on if you look on the YouTube page, you can see the Ghost Gunner 3 working. I have a Ghost Gunner 2 and a Ghost Gunner 3. Cody sent them both to me. Cody's like a really. I know people are like, oh, that whole thing with the girl and stuff like that. But,
oh yeah.
But the thing is, she was like 1 year underage. But the thing is, Cody didn't know her age. She lied about her age, admittedly lied about her age, and never told him. So,
yeah, that's one of those things. I mean, he's someone in an elevated position.
Yeah,
no matter which way you look at it, people are going to use that as ammunition against him. Admitted that she was underage, not admitted she was underage. It's still going to always be part of the conversation. But yeah, so it's great. I think it's exciting. It's exciting that the New Jersey Attorney General is subject and getting sued out of Texas. I don't know how far it'll go, but Defense Distributed.
He tried to sue just Defense Distributed.
Yep.
So he's like, oh, you're subject to our laws. So Defense Distributed is like, hey, no, you're now subject to ours.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, I mean, it's been demonstrated time and again that code is free speech, and these 3D printed gun files, if it's whether it's you're trying to 3D print a gun, whether it's code to run a Ghost Gunner, it's protected free speech. It's only free speech. It's code. And I feel like they're just going to keep coming at them from every angle that they think that they can.
Yeah, it definitely is. And Defense Distributed, they're not going to give up. They're well funded. They're really smart guys. And more than that, I know the guys over there. And more than that, they actually might be watching the show right now, Mike. So if you want to, I know a bunch of them do. So.
Yeah, guys, shout out Defense Distributed. Found out about you guys from Control Pew. Had him on the show a few months ago. So yeah, if folks listening, if you're interested in what Defense Distributed does, check them out. You can check out Control Pew. A lot of interesting information out there that you can learn that New Jersey doesn't want you to.
Yeah. All right, Gorillas and Guns, you have a nice night. You out of here. But yeah, I'm very impressed with those guys, and they're true believers too. They have this woman that works over there. Oh, what is her name? Cassandra? Something. I can't remember what her last name is, but she's a British woman. She's very smart. Yeah, but John, you got to get a VPN. If you don't have a VPN, get a VPN. Get like Dashlane or NordVPN or something. Everyone out VPN. Yeah,
Surfshark. Check out Surfshark.
And I have a guide to how to keep yourself as anonymous as possible on the internet, because you're not going to become totally anonymous on the internet. It's just not going to happen. Even on the dark web, you're not anonymous.
I mean, maybe if you went full hermit life and the
only way to be anonymous on the internet is not to use it. You okay, man?
Yes. Yeah, I had a cup of pencils and stuff on the desk that decided it didn't want to be on the desk anymore.
I'd say like Hogan took you out.
Yeah, I was talking too much trash about these gun laws that he's passing. So,
Yeah. So what do you think of this whole Kenosha thing, man?
man, so when I first saw the videos, I was like, "Oh, that's like super clear cut." Knowing that the guy's 17, I think is it's difficult knowing. I mean, I think so. I mean, he's not technically allowed to own rifles at that point, I don't think.
Yeah, but
And
talking about first degree murder,
yeah,
which is insane.
yeah. If you've seen the videos, then I think it's a pretty clear cut case of self defense.
Well, the
If
first guy threw a Molotov freaking cocktail at him before he called
Yeah.
a bullet to first. That dude was a child molester too, so F him. But he
Yeah.
called a freedom seat to the face.
Mm-hmm. And then
And-
that dude, then he gets clocked by a guy with a skateboard, shoots that dude, and another dude comes running up, fake surrenders, and pulls out a Glock.
Yeah. I saw somebody posted a thing of the guy sitting there with the gun in his hand and his bicep all exploded. And it said, "When you win second prize at a quick draw contest."
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it sucks for everyone involved. I mean,
Yeah, I think it's for the kid.
he shouldn't have been there in the first place. I think a lot of people sort of romanticize the idea of, maybe defending people or defending yourself or something like that. But like, I hope I never have to shoot anyone ever. That's terrible. And the best way to do that is not put yourself in that position.
Well, no, he shouldn't have been there. I agree with that. He shouldn't have been there, but he was there, and what he did is not first degree murder.
No.
I mean, it was clear cut self defense. The first guy tried to throw a Molotov cocktail at him because he was standing in front of a building, and then he was chased, and he's being charged with first degree murder on all those dudes.
Yeah, it was multiple charges, and he also I think he ended up getting charged with like fleeing the state, or like leaving the scene of the crime, or whatever charge they tag on there, because he went the 20 minutes back to freaking Illinois.
He flagged down a cop.
Yeah.
Have
you seen the full video of after he puts one in the first guy? He stops and pulls out his phone and starts trying to call. I don't know if he was going to call 911.
Yeah, he called 911. Then the other guy chased him.
Yeah, and so like, I mean, good on him. He stopped, tried to call 911, which is what you're supposed to do. But when you have an angry mob running at you, I'd run away too. Like, it's tragic.
He has, well, his GoFundMe for his legal defense got pulled down, and people were like, haha, let's see, you get a lawyer now. So he got a lawyer.
Well, that's good.
But I think it kind of backfired on the guys, because the lawyer he got is pretty damn good.
A little bit of a heavy hitter.
Oh, probably the heaviest hitter out there. Yeah, probably the heaviest hitter out there.
Yeah, I think he's gonna need it, unfortunately.
I think he got the guy's name is L. Inwood. He is what you would call a super lawyer, I guess. See, John Anderson, we're almost done, so you're only gonna miss the last 5-6 minutes of it. But yeah, L. Inwood is a super lawyer out there. He is like he's the guy who got the Covington kids all their money.
Oh, there you go. Hey, speaking of that, did you see there was a meme going around of the kid, Nick Sandman was his name, which was the one that
the guy was banging the drum.
Yeah. And so he ended up getting all that money from CNN, and Then CNN was airing his speech at the RNC earlier this week.
Are you talking about the snot-nosed kid thing?
Yeah, the snot-nosed Brad or whatever they called him.
Yeah, snot-nosed Brad. I tweeted back, are you upset because you're not getting your raise because Sandman got your money?
Oh man, there's just something special about, getting paid by CNN to talk crap about CNN and then being aired on CNN while it all happens.
Well, dude, CNN had the videos. They had the full videos of what happened back in the day, and they ran with their narrative, even though they knew their narrative was false. So
Does that really surprise you?
No, it doesn't surprise me. But if you're going to get sued if that comes out that, hey, yeah, we knew what we were reporting was false, but we needed to report it for our agenda.
I'd certainly say they earned it.
Yeah. So, and Sandman, they dragged his name through the mud.
Oh, they had him playing on a loop.
Yeah, and now he's never gonna have to work a day in his life. He has a good career in politics ahead of him.
Yeah. The only thing I wish is that it wasn't an NDA. I wish I knew exactly how much he got out of him, because I just want to know how big of a hit they took.
It's probably a lot, but what I'm saying is he turned shit around. He took something that was going to destroy his life, and that's what they wanted to do. CNN and Washington Post, all these people, they wanted to destroy his life to take down Donald Trump. Because that wasn't targeted at him; it was targeted at Donald Trump. They used the surrogate target, and they were going to destroy his life. And now, instead of destroying his life, he's hanging out with the president, speaking in front of like millions of people. So rich that he's never going to have to work a day in his life. He can do whatever the hell he wants.
Talk about a good network to have, right?
Yeah, he can do whatever the hell he wants for the rest of his life. He is set for life. And
like him or not, he's on good terms with the president. And even if he wasn't the president, with Donald Trump.
Yeah, it's poetic justice. That's what it is. It's karma coming right back around.
Right. There's a lot of that out there nowadays.
Yeah. So getting back to this whole Kyle thing. So we have a good attorney. So he shot the child molester and the two domestic abusers, felony of domestic abusers, by the way, both of them, in the face. Maj Torre, Maj? Yeah, of course you know Maj. What the hell am I talking about?
Yeah, I was at I was in the State House with you guys.
Yeah. Well, Maj tweeted out something. He tweeted out a picture of the dude that they beat for having the MAGA hat on, put him in a coma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "You're laughing about this." But now, let me bring it up on Instagram because it was perfect. Then I'll put it up on the screen here because it was perfect.
Oh yeah, Maj is a smart guy, and he's such a nice guy too. I wish more people could meet him in person. Because he can come off a little brusque online, but if you meet him in person, he's one of the nicest. He's a well-spoken guy, really really smart.
A rock star. He really is. I've been at like rallies with him, and so he's been tweeting these things that are really funny. But I've been at rallies with him, and just people just mob him. But yeah,
I believe it.
There's a couple things. Let me just share this right here. Right here. Whoops. Hold on. He writes, it's showing both of my screens. I don't want it to show a tab. Oh shit. No. I don't know, man. Hold on.
I think if you go big screen on everything.
Well, no. I have an option. I didn't do tab. Here we go.
Yeah, there it is.
So he wrote, you all kill all pedophiles. Teenager kills white communist Antifa pedophile who attacked him. He was only 17 with a rifle. He's a white supremacist.
Man,
That
it rings so true, doesn't it?
he put out that one. Let me see if I got this other one. The other one that I saw that he put out that was freaking great. All right, here we go. This one is also great. Last week in Portland, an unarmed man was kicked in the head and put into a coma. Y'all said he should have been armed and dialed it in. This week, 17-year-old was violently attacked with a Molotov cocktail, skateboard, and kicked in the face. He shot back. Y'all bitching.
There's a large segment of the population out there, I feel like, that it's really hard to win. Like, it's a lose-lose no matter what situation transpires, because they're always going to spin it to fit their narrative.
Then you got this one right here. Cheap DPMS, cheap red dot, no plate carrier, no spare bags, no nods, which is night vision goggles.
Yep.
Defends businesses, defends his life, kills a registered sex offender in the process of stopping 3 threats while under duress by a mob of commies. Hit no innocence. He's 17. Salute.
Yeah, man. I mean, say what you want about the kid, whether you think, he should have been there, shouldn't have been there. He was there, and once it started going down, I mean, he handled himself a lot better than I think most people would have.
99%, man. He acted reactively, which shows, hey, man, he knows how to he knows how to train, I guess.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah, but I bet I don't know what GOA stance is because there was meetings today and I don't know if it was discussed or not. But I was at the dentist in pain, getting shots to try to So I missed out. I'm kind of behind because I've been getting asked a lot. What is GOA stance? What is GOA stance? And I'm like, really, guys? I don't know. I came home. I shot a video really fast in pain because I got to get it up because of sponsorships. I know my sponsors would be understanding, but I like to keep my word.
Oh yeah, if you made a commitment, it's worth sticking to it.
So that's why I'm doing this today instead of calling it off, because my sponsor, which is Mantis X, mantisx.com. Have you ever used the Mantis X?
I have not. I think who have I seen also talking about? I think it was the guy John from Active Self Protection. Talks about him a lot too, and so I've always wanted one, but haven't pulled the trigger yet.
Their Blackbeard system, I have a review coming up for that, because the Blackbeard system, which is, I will let you know right now, the review is going to be goddamn positive because it's awesome. But I've been using a Mantis X product for 3 years, and I had no connection with those guys. So I was like, when I started getting sponsors, the only reason why I got sponsors is to help out my niece.
Right.
I started reaching out, and I reached out, and everyone I reached out to, Down the Barrel reached out to me, and they're really cool. And I was so happy because they make the guns for Black Rambo and Killer Mike and stuff like that. But I'm not going to take any sponsors because I'm just doing it to get money for my niece. I'm not taking any sponsors of things I don't use and things I don't like.
Yeah, and so I mean, with
Mantis, I've had a couple companies reach out to me in the past, but I don't like their products. One makes cheap AKs.
Okay.
And I will promote their handguns, which I have done, and I've worked with them on their handgun. They have a certain brand of handgun that's incredible, and it's a great price, and it's an incredible handgun. So I will plug that all you want, because I use it and I like it. I think it's a quality piece of machinery at the price where most people can afford.
Right.
So I will definitely support that, and I did. But AKs, the stuff you import, yeah, okay. The stuff that you actually make, no.
So yeah, so Mantis, so you've been using them a while. It sounds like you love them.
I, I got one before they were released.
Oh, cool.
Through MLN. MLN said, "Hey, can you test this for us?" And I was like, "Yes." So I got one. I didn't really have communication with the guys over there, except to
Okay.
ask a few questions about like, "Hey, how'd you guys designed it?" And I thought it was going to be a gimmicking thing, and I thought it was going to add weight and everything else. And like within one afternoon, I majorly helped improve my. It really helped me improve my shot placement and everything else, and I was able to fire faster and keep my groups tighter and stuff like that under one time. So I've been using them ever since then, and my shots now are my shots weren't bad to begin with, which I have no people who've shots were bad and they used it and they've gotten like really good. My shots weren't bad and now they're really really good.
Well, that's great, and I think it's something that folks nowadays. I mean, in Corona season, where if you don't have the benefit of a private range or some private property where you can shoot, if you don't want to go out to a range, public range, or expose yourself if you're immunodeficient or something like that, it seems like a great option.
Well, especially their AR option. Their handgun option, I use. I probably dry fire on if I don't have a lot of time. I dry fire at least 100 times a day. But honestly, my average is probably around 1,000 dry fires a day with it.
Man,
Yeah, dude, this is what I do.
it's like you do it for a living or something, man.
I kind of do. So it really helps out. But even when I first started using it, I didn't even use it for dry fire. I just used it at the range, and it really helped me. Then I started working into my dry fire, and honestly, I improved just as much at home dry firing than I did at the range. So now I use it almost exclusively for dry fire practice, just because it is. And I got the new one coming too. I have
Hey, there you go.
the Gen 1, which is it's still smaller than a Streamlight TLR1, but it's not as small as their new Mantis, their Elite, which is teeny tiny.
That's cool.
So yeah, and I can't wait to get that one in. That's not what I'm reviewing. I'm reviewing the Blackbeard, which is their AR system, but the Gen 1, um, the Gen 1 Mantis is a lot bigger than their new Mantis. So
Okay.
I can't wait to get that one in. And that's not even for a review. That's just for me, that's just something I'm gonna use.
Well, I think that's the best sort of review that you can have. It's like if you were gonna have it anyways, if you like it that much anyways, then you're in good shape.
Yeah, I'm at 1,200 some subscribers. Since this is the second time I rebuilt my channel, maybe I should give away a Mantis X Elite for if I hit 2,000.
Oh, that's a good idea.
I might do that.
That'd be a good one too. Shoot, you'll have me sharing your page.
Oh. Okay, let's see here. All right. So, stupid. The NHL is not going to play tonight. They postponed their games for tonight and tomorrow because of Jacob Blake.
And the NHL?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, you saw that. I think I saw that the NBA is planning on returning tomorrow night after
Yeah.
their.
I'm done with sports.
Man, I've never been a big sports guy.
We don't have enough sleep anymore, man.
Yeah, I just, it was never really my thing. So whether they play or whether they don't doesn't really affect me. It's not, it doesn't really bother me one way or another. They can do what they want. It's their paycheck.
Yeah, yeah, it is. But the thing that pisses me off is that it's not done out of the actual respect or the actual thing. It's done because they have to be woke in today's society.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you think, so this is coming from. I listened to another really good podcast earlier this week, but if you think of the idea that like people drive politics, right? Society drives politics, not the other way around. It's society drives everything. It's whether it's politics, whether it's the entertainment industry, sports industry, anything like that. And so when you have a relatively loud majority or minority, either way, whether the folks that are upset about this are the majority or the minority.
They're definitely the minority. The polls show it. In fact, that's why Donald Trump is now within the margin of error of Joe Biden and every swing state. And believe it or not, CNN just had a poll. I think it's CNN just had a poll come out today that says he's ahead in Wisconsin now, which is a state that the Democrats need to win. So Don Lemon actually went on and said, and said, please stop rioting because you're going to get Donald Trump reelected. No, he actually, not word for word, but he said, we need to stop the rioting because it's playing into the hands of the Republicans and it's going to cause Donald Trump to get elected.
That's why we need to stop rioting.
Yeah, it's
not because it's the wrong thing to do.
We're burning down people's businesses and, destroying people's lives. No, it's because you're
going to get Donald Trump reelected.
It's like, calm the F on, man. Dude, I mean, just stop it with the politics. Be a human being, but they can't. But
man. They're the lizard people.
Tyven just came in, but you're missing it, dude. But yeah, we've been on for an hour, 12 minutes, which is a little bit over. I hope I didn't keep you too long, man.
No, it's one of these things. I blocked out my schedule just for you, man.
Oh, I am so thrilled, even though that you won't have me on your podcast.
Man, I gotta tell you, I have to admit, I've been slacking big time over the summer. I was working long hours. I'm in my last semester of school now, so I was trying to stack up some cash, squirrel a little bit away before I.
I'm gonna give Steve Tyven everything.
I'll buy that for $1.
One more.
So as I was saying, the amount of money I'm going to be making would hurt your parents' feelings. You remember the class where I taught you all how to make it rain? That's what I'm going to be doing every single night.
Gotta get it ready.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Dollar bills.
All right, Tyven, send me your address. I don't have your address anymore because my last account got canned. I'll send you some patches or something. Find you something. But yeah. I'm going to throw out my plugs and I'll let you have the last word. Cool. We are sponsored by Mantis X. You can find Mantis X at mantisx.com. They are freaking awesome. And I'm not saying that because they're a sponsor. If you know me, I've been using them for the last few years. And that's the reason why I reached out to them, because they're just awesome. I'm going to try to do a show tomorrow. I don't know if I'd be able to or not. I'll probably be in a lot of pain, but I'm getting a root canal tomorrow. Yay, because I cracked my tooth, because I ground it, then I didn't take care of it. Then after I cracked it, and now it's infected. Awesome. But you can also follow me on Patreon, patreon.com/John Crump. $5 a month will get you some awesome patches and some other goodies. A thank you card went out by me. $20 on Patreon, $25 in Super Chat will get you this awesome book. You know what? I'm going to upgrade you. You dive into a free book, not only signed by me, but signed by my warrior niece, Bella, too. When next time Bella comes back for her treatment, she's going to be on the podcast again because she really liked doing it. So she asked me if she could. I said, Hell effing yeah. Well, I didn't actually say hell effing yeah. I just said hell yeah.
You said, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I said yeah, of course. I said anytime. Anytime. You can follow me at crumpy.com. Crumpy.com. My app came out today, but don't download it because I don't I don't have no idea. I have no idea.
Work in progress.
It works. It just somehow when it went up to the Google, it doesn't open ticket, but Google Play will let you install it, but won't actually let you run it for some reason. I don't know. It was there was a bug apparently in the system.
So download it. It'll work eventually.
I wouldn't even download it right now. That's basically what they said. They said, "Yeah, we'll fix it, then it'll work." But I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to tell people to download it yet." Crumpy.com. You can follow me if you want to just get the audio version of the podcast. You can go to podcast.crumpy.com or any of Google Podcasts, Google Play, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio. It's everywhere. So you can get it at any of the places where you usually get your podcast from. Remember, you can also go to blackswantactical.com and use code Liberty and get 10% off. All proceeds from Black Swan, all the profits from Black Swan Tactical goes to Mini Spell too. This is like my little t-shirt shop. And gunowners.org/black-swan-media. You can get a 25% off your GOA membership. And now, cool feature, upgrade. We have Patriot memberships and lifetime memberships on there for the 25% off too. So that is awesome now. Before it was just the yearly membership, but now I talked to them and now we have it for everything. That is it for me today. I'm going to try to do a show tomorrow. I can't promise anything, but there will be a video at least tomorrow. It's already done, so I know there will be a video. You're going to see this shirt.
So for me, I certainly don't have as many plugs. I am not quite as accomplished as Mr. Crump himself.
I am not accomplished at all. Take that back, you liar.
You can find me on Facebook, just Free State Podcast. Not as active over the summer. I'm getting back into it now. I have a little bit more free time.
Probably
and you can also
my old Facebook page.
Yeah, right. And then I'm getting in, and I'm also on Instagram. I post more memes on Instagram. So if you like memes, you should follow it. It's at the Free State Podcast. That's where I'm more active than Facebook. I should link them up, but that's too much work. Other than that,
my old one is not there.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't have anything. If you want to listen to the podcast, check it out on. I think I'm on Spotify for the most part. I'm also on Podbean. Apple is hanging me up on some cover art BS. They didn't like the size of the stuff I sent them. Resized it. They didn't like that either.
Dude, I went through the same thing. I can help you. I can almost guarantee you I know what it is. But I'm on medication right now, so I can't remember. But I kept on uploading it over and over and over again. And then I found out there is a second place where if you uploaded it once wrong, it's still there. You got to go in and do it there.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Shoot me a text tomorrow or something. Or, you know what? Make it the weekend after you've recovered from the root canal.
Yeah, because I know how to fix that. It took me forever. It took me days. And no one figured it out until I was just clicking around and I was like, wait a minute. Oh my God. Like, that's it.
Yeah, that's my holdup with Apple right now. Otherwise, Podbean, Spotify, that's where it's all going.
I Google the hell out of it. I talked to the people at Podbean, Bean or whatever. Podbean. Well, I don't know, man. I talked to people at Apple. No one knew. Combined up Podbean too. But I finally figured it out just by clicking on something and I saw it and I was like, I have no idea how I got here, so let me fix this really fast. Like, please don't let me time out before Podbean times you out fast. So I was like, please don't let me time out before I get the hard download. I have no idea where I got it from. But if you're on Podbean, I know exactly where it is. Usually.
Awesome. Well, that is it for me. That's all I have to say. Thanks again for having me on. I really appreciate it. Folks, if you're from Maryland, definitely check me out, follow me, and listen to what I have to say. Even if you're not from Maryland, do the same thing.
I bet say if you're not from Maryland, because your podcasts are pretty good. They're really well done.
Oh, shucks, I'm blushing.
Yeah. The audio version of this podcast will be up tomorrow. Like, comment, and subscribe. And follow Mike and listen to his podcast, the Free State Podcast. I will catch you guys later. Mike, go ahead and say goodbye.
Alrighty. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a good evening.